Please let me seek your consent to record this section before our guest, Mr. Ghana, jumps in. All right, so please, Mr. Peter, let me welcome you to Data Science Project, where we meet as fellows data scientists, guide ourselves, and also teach ourselves as well. So before the house, please, let's welcome Mr. Peter Ghana to take us through Power BI and DAX related difficulties that we are all encountering. Specifically, if Mr. Peter can maybe scan us through the MCQ4 or anything related to DAX, senior, you are welcome to take the floor. So, Mr. Peter, you can let us hear from you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Richard. I don't know if I'm audible.
Yes, please, you are.
Okay. So, as you rightly said, my name is Peter Abuisiakon, but Peter Ghana for short, and I'm a data science learner as well. Suffering just like everybody else, but just trying to help fellow learners understand a few things that they don't. And I don't want to make the plan is not to make this session like a teacher and a student session. I just want to make it as interactive.
So now you see something like this. So when you get here,
okay. So I just want to make it as interactive as possible, and then probably we could go through the basics of the DAX functions, DAX in Power BI, the basics of it. Then would have people bring in their questions, which sides they are finding really difficult, and then as a team, we all see how we can help them. So that's basically it.
All right. So we thank you once again, sir. So team, he has the floor now. So before he starts, or whilst he is taking the floor, if you have any question, anything is bothering you, please, you can also jump in, either raise your hand or give us a comment in the message box so you can be attended to. So, sir, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Thank you again, Richard, and thank the whole team for having me. So my first question basically will be, what is it about DAX that is troubling us? What is the problem? What when we say DAX is difficult or we are not really getting DAX, what are we talking about? Is it the syntax? Is it the construction of the whole functions? I mean, what is really troubling us? If I can get some perspectives, so I know which areas to really push.
All right. So once we are all students, right? If I can't speak for everybody, right? So personally, I would say now the training or the support should be on the construction and the DAX centers as well. So we would be grateful if you can share screen whilst you take us through, or we take the questions and answers. I think that would be pretty cool. Hello, sir.
All right, a moment as I try to share my screen.
All right, okay, that's fine.
Okay. I don't know if you guys can see my screen yet. Okay, not yet.
No, it's yeah.
Screen.
Oh, so please, before then, if anybody has a question, right, specific challenges or challenge on the topic, please, you can. Oh, somebody say I'm using Cassava, Celestine. You can let us know. So please, you can send your questions to us. All right. Okay.
So someone has
Okay. So,
a specific
yeah. So
question.
Celestine is saying the whole show. So I think I started with there, right? The centers to everything.
The whole show there, we need like 10 hours. So
Okay. I think today's our first time, right? So we can do a quick campaign. Then next week, right? We build a
Okay. See,
okay.
the thing is, that's everything, like what we use it to do, that's a problem. Aside the plenty talk in the flights and co, what we use it to do, like how to go about the whole thing. So I think that's what Richard was talking about.
Yes, please. Yeah. So, Sinapita, it seems we are all having the same issue, right? Okay.
okay. All right. Can you guys see my screen though?
Oh, yes, please. Very
Okay.
great.
Okay. So I'm going to use this data set. So
Okay.
okay. So in a nutshell, the DAX is a way to tell Power BI, it's a language to communicate to Power BI to tell it what you want it to do. Normally in calculations. If you are familiar with Microsoft Excel, just like in Excel, you have functions that you use to do calculations. It's the same way you have functions to do calculations in Power BI. But in Power BI, it's a little bit different, although there are lots of similarities between the DAX and the Excel functions. There are a few differences. So basically, if you have a table, normally when you're working in Power BI, you work with lots of tables, at least one or two tables, data in a tabular form. Now, there are some insights that you would want to get from the tables that you can't get just on your visual pane, okay? You can't get just on your report view. You have to compute. For example, if you have a table that is giving you maybe products sold, and then you have another column that is telling you how many people bought, okay? You have just these two columns, and you want to find the total profit. You know that maybe profit is what? Sales minus cost. But you don't have profit on your table. To be able to have profit on your table, you have to calculate that. So that is where the DAX comes in, to calculate things you need on your table to show some insights. And most of the time, the tables are limited. You don't have all the information you want on the table. Sometimes you have to calculate some of them to show people what is happening. So basically, that's what the DAX does. Okay. Now, the DAX is basically used for two things.
Okay.
One is to create a calculated column, and then to create a calculated measure. Okay. So the calculated column is just like introducing a new column to your table, but this column is going to be a calculated column. So it's more like maybe column A minus column B should give you this column C, or column A minus column B over column C times what, that all the calculations, then it gives you a figure, and that figure or that value should be put in your new column. So that's the calculated column. Then, so sometimes in your data, you need to compute a new column. Like I was talking about this profit, for example.
Okay.
If you have a lot of things, you want to see what profits you are making and everything, sometimes or most of the time, you need to compute a new profits table to show you how much profit you are making.
All right.
Okay. Then for the measure, So the measure is also a different thing. The measure also does calculations, and it's the same language. You use the DAX functions to calculate the measure as well, just the same way as you use it to calculate the new column, the calculated column. The only difference is that the calculated column will be saved in your model. So it will be, the calculated column will become part of your table.
Okay.
So for example, this table I have here, I have improvement, unit cost, and adjusted cost. Let's say I want to have a new column that I will call adjusted cost minus unit cost. Let's just say.
All right.
Okay. Yes, I want to find adjusted cost minus unit cost. I would want to create a new table. So up here, you have a new table, you have a new column, you have a quick measure, you have a new measure.
Okay.
So I'm going to add a new column to these three columns. So I click on new column. I click on new column. Now, once you click on new column, the DAX space gives you the opportunity to write your calculations, okay? Your function. Now it tells me that column is equal to, so basically it starts with the column name. This can be edited. So I can edit the column name to say maybe difference. That is my column name.
Okay.
Then my equal to shows that it is the start of the equation or the function I'm going to write.
All right.
Okay. So my difference is equal to, what is my difference equal to? My difference is equal to the rural adjusted cost column minus the unit cost in USD column. So basically that's what I'm supposed to write.
Okay.
But in Power BI, normally you have to make reference to the table. It's important that you make reference to the table so that it knows exactly which table to pick the columns from. Because sometimes, let's say you could have a rural adjusted column, a rural adjusted cost column in another table also. So if you don't tell Power BI which table you should pick your data from, it could get confused. Yes, it could get confused. So, and to reference a table, you use more like a single inverted comma.
Inverted commas, yeah.
Yes, the single one gives you the table name, and then okay. So what is our table? Let me just try this. So we have improvement. This is an infrastructure cost table.
Okay.
So this is equal to, like this. I have the infrastructure cost table, but I'm looking for infrastructure cost table with the rural adjusted cost column.
Okay.
And once I click this, it gives me the options. So I have here infrastructure cost table and the rural adjusted cost column. I click this. Now, what you have in the brackets, the what do you call it? The square brackets.
Yeah, the curly bracket.
What you have in the square brackets refers to the column name.
Column.
So basically, what I've written in simple English is calculate a diff. Calculate a new column that I am calling diff. Now, this diff is equal to the infrastructure cost table.
Okay.
You pick the rural adjusted cost. Then what should you do with it? Then I'll just say subtract minus the infrastructure table again, USD, unit cost USD. That is this one. And we are good. Right? I hit enter or I hit this, it calculates a new column. So it's very simple.
Simple. All right.
It's very simple. It's not as difficult as people make it seem. It's
Please,
very simple.
I think the process is pretty simple, but it looks some crooked, zigzag way, right? So please, does anybody has a question? Since it's going to be an interactive class, one-on-one section with everyone to clarify our doubts. Okay, Chris say nice. Meaning you got it. Celestine, please, any question?
Yes, please ask your questions. Your questions will bring more solutions and everybody will understand better. So if you don't understand anything, feel free to ask.
Please, so you can ask the question. Yeah. Okay, Celestine, you are good. All right. So please, whilst we are waiting, you can either give an emoji, you can ask the question, or you can write a message, right? So what he has done so far. Okay, please.
I have a question.
Okay, all right, ask the question.
All right, my question is, when do we use a measure and when do we use a calculated measure? When do we use a calculated column? Are there specific circumstances where we use each of them, or we can just use anyone at any time?
Okay. So that's a very good question. That's a good question. Normally, depending on the data that you are analyzing, okay, depending on the data that you are analyzing and what you are going to use the calculation for after it is calculated, then you decide whether you need a column or a measure. Now, the measure is mostly a scalar quantity. It's a scalar quantity. Mostly the measure is like a number. Okay, so maybe total cost. Then you create a measure. It gives you just one number. The total cost is 50. That's all. Or maybe percentage of people served or percentage of people who have access to basic water. You create a measure. It gives you just one number, one quantity. So if the analysis you are going to do, you need just one number, then it's okay to create a measure. There are times that you would need a column because sometimes you would want to reference, you want to see probably what the, let's say what the difference was for maybe install two taps nearby. You want to see only for that one. Then you can quickly reference to your column. But the thing also is that the column takes space in your database. It takes space. So if you are not really going to use, what you are calculating for anything that will relate columns, then it's better to create a measure. It's better to create a measure because the more you create columns, the more space you are using in your database.
Your database.
But measures do not take any space. Yes, measures do not take any space. They are just hanging. Yeah. I don't know if the difference is a little bit clear for you.
Please, is your question answered?
Yes, my question is answered, but it comes to the follow-up question.
Okay.
You know, I myself, I've been doing my best to see if I can understand the DAX. I mean, but then there are certain things that should help me build a good foundation. Okay. So, in addition to what you have said, I want to know, will it be ideal to say that the column calculation is done on row-wise, and then the measure is done column-wise?
Yes, that's right.
Exactly.
Yes, you can say that.
Exactly.
You can say that.
If you are doing column by column, your output should be in another column, which in a row of another column.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that if you are doing the measure, it aggregates a particular column and gives you one output, which you, like you mentioned, is a scalar.
Exactly.
Scalar quantity.
So another question I want to ask is, I've seen that sometimes when doing the DAX, entering the DAX, you see when we are entering the table name, I've had a situation whereby I did not use the what do they call it, the inverted commas at the top, but then it worked. And there are instances where I did not use it and it did not work. So I mean, I don't know if you've noticed something like that, and then if you've noticed, I mean, then what do you think about it? Do you think there are any special situations for which we have that happening?
Okay, so the issue is that PowerBI tries to be smart. Okay, the syntax of PowerBI is that if you are making reference to a table, you have to use the single inverted comma. That is what tells PowerBI that it is a table you are making reference to.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if you don't use the single inverted comma, PowerBI itself, based on what you have entered, may see that this is a table and it will pick a table for you. But the problem is that if you have a measure with the same name, let me show this. let's see one of the measures we have maybe on the project progress table. Okay. So let me try. We are done with this diff. Let me try adding a new measure, probably. Okay. Now I'm not going to name this measure because it's just for to show you. Okay. So let's say I have a measure, cumulated budget. Now when I type C, oh no, measure is equal to, when I type C, cumulated measure, cumulated. Now see the things I have. If I type CU, I have cumulative budget, cumulative cost, and percentage cumulative spending variance. These are measures already in there. So if there was a table called cumulative budget, for example, if there was a table like that, and I'm trying to reference the table, but I don't bring my inverted commas, PowerBI might think I'm referencing the measure. So it will pick the measure for me.
Okay.
So that's how we have to be careful. But if there is no table, or if there's no measure with the other name, you might be lucky. And PowerBI will pick it for you. So to be on the safe side, when you are referencing a column, you use the square bracket. That's how PowerBI works. And the measure also uses the square bracket. So the measure and the column, sometimes it can be confusing. But once you work with it for a while, you would know whether you are actually talking about a measure or a column. Because most of the time, a column follows a table name, but a measure doesn't.
Yes. A measure doesn't. That's true. That's true. It stands on its own. I think I've noticed that. All right, thank you very much.
All right.
Although I had an issue with my project 4 though. It's funny. I don't know why up to now I still am not able to resolve it, but then I don't know. I realize that if you notice, I think that should be on slide 19, if I'm not mistaken. Slide 19, where we had to do some calculation. We had a 34%. We had that is percentage. Let me see if I can put on my laptop. See. So we had something like that, and then we had a certain 9 million and co. In my own case, the 9 million is not responsive. Says that when you select that Sureto or whatever in Hawassa, when you select that town in Hawassa, I don't get the 54%.
Yeah.
I don't get
so
54%.
I get it. I get it. And a lot of people had that problem. And that's very it's strictly towards the project. So for the project, okay, let me show here. Once I have my project on, let me show. So we are moving away from the DAX a little bit. So
yeah, eventually going to use the DAX anyway.
Okay.
It's just application of it. So
So my map here, on my map here, when I click on say what do you call it? Okay, this one has everyone at 100. Let me go to the one that was 1 year, just 1 year. Because that's where the 34 is. Let me pick that one for you real quick. I don't know if it was the 1 year or it was the start of the project. I think it was.
Yeah, that was somewhere around page 19. Yeah, that's page 19.
Page 19, so that was after 1 year, or it was at the start of the project? 1 year update?
No, it was at the start of the project. No 1 year update.
It wasn't the 1 year update?
No, start of the project.
Okay, so the 1 year update had 48%, no problem. Let's try it here. Let's try it here. Now, when I click a province, you see it changes. When I click on, I'm talking about this one, the percentage of population with basic access.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Now what happens is this my map, I have used town name and number of, let me see what the measure name is. Oh,
Please, if somebody is lost here, you can let us know.
So I have used town name, number of completed projects, and then percentage of projects complete. Now, the town name, I picked my town name from the location table, as you can see here. If I change my town name from the location table and I go and pick the town name from the project progress table, where is that one? This one, town. This.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when I come and select the provinces, it changes. So this is the problem you were having.
Yes.
It is because you are using. It is because you are using the town from the project progress table. Now, what is happening is that you see. So basically, with this sense, you have to understand the data you are working with. What is happening is that imagine Togo, the project progress table, the towns on the project progress table is telling you the towns where we have to do improvements. So every town that has to do improvement, it is on the project progress table. The towns on the location table is giving you all the towns in Margin Dogo, whether we have to do a project there or not. So they are different.
Okay.
You get it? They are different. Yeah. So the ones that are in the project progress table, when you select them alone, because this one I see is giving me 323%.
Yes. I was getting something like that.
Yes, some of them are even giving 1,000%.
Yes, I had that. That was one of my. In fact, mine at the point I had over 1,000 something. I was like even 9,000 something. I was worried. Yeah. I said, how come?
Yeah. Because all the DAX we wrote, we used the town from the location table, the project progress table. Yeah. But that one is a subset. That town on the project progress table is a subset of the towns you have, because definitely in Margin Dogo, there are some towns that don't need any improvement. They are okay. So if you pick the towns from the project progress table, it means that you are not including those towns. But the theme of the project is for everybody to get water. And for everybody to get water, it means that everybody in Margin Dogo, whether you are in a town where there is improvement or there is no improvement needed, you should have water. You get it?
Okay.
So that's why we are using the town from the location table. And that's
but
all.
Again, one thing I observed was that you see that after you're saying that because of where I got the calculation from, because I realized that 9 million value does not move regardless of the town you select.
All right. So
which one was the 9 million value? It was value for what?
That's the population with basic access.
It wasn't moving regardless of the town you are selecting.
Yes, it doesn't change. It's static.
Okay, so that would
if you
mean
remember,
that
I sent you a message. I sent you a DM. I think that was on either Wednesday or Thursday. I was asking for the DAX you used. You sent me your DAX, the one you used. I tried it. I had done mine. I had a 9 million. Then I asked for yours. When I used yours, I got the same 9 million, but the same thing. It still does not move. Still the same, still as static as it was.
Maybe we should look at that one.
All right. Maybe
you said it's in the first one, eh? Let me go and pick that one in. You said it's in the first before the 1 year.
So
yes, before the 1 year.
Yeah.
Mr. Ghana.
Yes, sir.
For people to get exactly what the training is intended for, right? Although it's all part of the training, right? So I think alongside some specific issues can be addressed maybe tomorrow or maybe one-on-one, right? So people following the DAX can get it from the scratch.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that for now, let's concentrate on the DAX.
Yeah.
Let's concentrate on the DAX for now. And these particular problems would run through.
Yes, please. Yeah.
But so any questions on the DAX?
Yeah, but Mr. Mompuchi, whilst we are all whilst we are all following, right? If there is something to add, right, or address or simplify, we can all jump in and help us. So those that have access to the video would see it as useful material each time they watch it.
No problem, bro. I'm with you, sir. I'm with you.
Sir. Yeah.
No problem. Sure.
Okay. So I think I can go back to the DAX now.
Okay.
Let's try a few more.
Okay.
So
if I can ask a question, meaning before you can create a new column, right, with a DAX function, after you've defined the name of the column equal to, the next thing you have to do is to reference the table, right?
So it is column name.
Yes, please. Column name equal to table name. Table name. Name of the first column. Minus the same table name. And
name of the second column.
The name of the second column.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I think if I get it better, like my other colleagues or those who are here to watch the video, before you can create a new column with DAX, what you have to do is you should first click on the table new column. So please, you can do that for us.
Yeah, new column.
New column. So when you click on the new column like this, BI by 8 intelligence will give you what is being displayed. So we see column equal to. So this column name can be changed, right, by you.
Yeah.
And after this equal sign, what you do is to reference your table. So that's the name of your table. And in our case, the name of the table is infrastructure cost, right? Hope I'm right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So this table name, so you can click on the table name. So if the person wants to write it by himself or manually write it, this is how you write it, right? So you put the name of the column in a curly bracket, right? So the first, yes, like this one, minus, in our case, we were doing some difference, minus the name of the table name again. So you should let PowerBI understand that in that same table, you want to deduct the second column from that same table. And I think once you are able to do this, meaning you are good to go. So Mr. Ghana, Mr. Mompuchi, and the rest, if you have anything to add, then I think we can all add. So boom, we have our new column and our difference between the rural adjusted cost and the unit cost USD are now here. So you can do this in any similar DAX you want to write. So Senior Peter, you can take the lead.
Okay. So this is a very simple calculation. Of course, there are really complex calculations in the project. So very complex, long DAX in the project. That's very complex. Today we just want to
basics. Yeah.
Today we want to settle on the basis, how to get it.
Exactly.
Now, on the DAX, one thing I have to say is that you can't know everything.
Exactly.
You can't know everything.
Sure.
A lot of them comes with practice.
Okay.
The more you practice it, the more you get to know it.
All right.
So do not shy away from using ChatGPT or Googling to tell it that, I want to subtract this column from this column. How do I do it?
All right.
It will write the whole DAX for you.
Okay.
If you don't understand the DAX is written for you, ask it. Why did you use this? Why did you not use this? Okay. And that can really help you with your understanding. I do that a lot.
Okay.
Okay. Then we can look at, so this is a very basic DAX, DAX written here.
Written, okay.
Let's say we want to create a measure. So I'm done with this one.
Okay, so we are done with column. All right.
I'm done with the column.
Okay.
Let's say I want to create a measure. Now, what should the measure do? Let's say the measure is supposed to take my new over the rural adjusted cost.
Okay.
Then I find the percentage of that. Okay. So it's more like, what is the percentage difference change?
Okay.
Between the rural adjusted cost and the unit cost in USD.
Okay.
Okay. So I come to my home. I hit my new measure. Okay. Now the measure is equal to, I want to call the measure percentage change between rural and unit cost. Rural and unit cost. It is a good practice to make your measure as explanatory as possible, as self-explanatory as possible.
As possible, okay.
So that when you have plenty measures, you are not thinking, is this the one I use the percentage, or this is the one, which one is this one? No. Okay. It should be very self-explanatory. Okay. So that when someone also picks your work, the person can easily see that, okay, this is what this is doing. Okay. If you are just naming it as new, like I have done here, this is a very bad practice. Okay. Because if I say new, what does it mean? It has to be very meaningful. All right. Okay. So we are saying percentage change between rural and unit cost. Now, this one will be equal to, we have our formula in our head. Our formula is the new over the unit cost, the new over the rural adjusted cost. Okay. Then I put it in a percentage. So here, I'll use a function. The function is divide. Okay. Divide. Now, once you start typing, Power BI actually knows, okay, so let me just type D. When you type D, it gives you all the functions that start with D. I add my E, it narrows it down. I add my V, it narrows it A. I add my I, it narrows it down. I add my V, it narrows it down. Now I have divide. When I click on divide, the good thing about Power BI DAX function is that it tells you how the logic should flow. Okay. So once I hit my bracket, up here, it is telling me that give me the numerator, bring a comma, give me the denominator. Oh, wow. And I can do the division for you. Okay. So it is telling you how to write the DAX formula. Okay. So for example, if I say, okay, my numerator should be this new, the column new. Okay. But you remember that you have to bring the table name first. Okay. So I'll say the infrastructure cost table. Divide my infrastructure cost table. Yeah. Oh, just one. Okay. I want my.
How to is related.
Oh, why? Which table am I in?
I think. Let me see. Click on the infrastructure cost table. Let me see. No, I think
I'm in the infrastructure cost table. So
you were in the progress something table.
I was in the progress table.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, no problem. So let's say I want to use, let me see. Let's say, so I have to change, let me change the column name.
Okay.
Let's just say I want to do some percentage of something just for training purposes. Percentage of something. Okay. Now this percentage should be equal to okay. It should be equal to maybe let me see. Okay, all these are measures.
No, I think
so these are all the measures.
It's
so let's say it should be equal to the sorry?
It is picking different table altogether.
It is picking the measures.
Yeah, I think someone is saying it's not a measure, that's why, unless you use a sum to add.
Unless I use what?
A sum. I think you can check in the message box.
It is not a measure, that's why, unless you use sum to add the rows. So, but this, let me see. So let's say sum. Okay. Okay. Let's say, So, but some will also be a very simple. We've done the subtraction already. Okay. Let me do some. So let's say we are going to add. So we've done a difference. This one is a difference. Now we are going to do the addition.
Okay.
So we are summing infrastructure cost table. This one, the USD.
Okay.
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 We are summing it to no.
Okay. I think
Let me do this.
Sakuna Sakuna or Sukuna is giving. Okay, you finish with this one and we try his function too.
Okay. So let's say I'm summing all the new.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm summing the infrastructure cost table new.
Okay. Meaning that
and what this means is that I'm telling Power BI to sum everything in this column.
All right.
And tell me what it is. So I just click enter and I'm good. It creates a new measure.
Okay.
The measure has been created and this is the measure, percentage of something. So I can go to.
Okay. So meaning that with the measure, it will not be part of the table columns. It will be inside the table you created that measure in, right?
Yes. So the measure will not be stored on the table, but
on
it will be stored in your data model.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
that's how the measure works.
Okay. So meaning that the measure can now be used for visualization purposes, right?
Yes,
exactly. And the column
so,
would be part of the table, wherever you save the table to.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
That's the
All
point.
right.
That's the point.
That's a great.
That's the point. That's the point.
All right. So now this is the addition and the subtraction of measure and column. So I think is it Sakuna or Sukuna has given a function that use divide bracket open sum bracket open. You can check in the message box and we see how we can.
So what I was trying to say is that with the divide we was trying to do earlier, I think because it's not a measure per se, so you were supposed to, let's say, add sum the values in the new, then sum the values in the rural adjusted, then you divide them kind of to get that percentage we were trying to do earlier. I hope you get me.
Senior Peter, I think he left. All right. So whilst we are waiting for him, if anybody has any questions so far from the simple DAX function we just wrote, you can let us know your question and we don't know how to address that. So we can all be on the same page. All right, so silence means consent. Mr. Mopuchi, whilst we are waiting for Peter, can you continue on or help in some way? Okay, so I guess it's like how aggregates don't work with columns. Okay, all right. So Celestine, your hello, Mr. Mapuchi.
I think your boss.
Yeah. So whilst we are waiting for Mr. Peter, either he is having internet issue or can you share screen and continue from where he got to?
Okay, I was using my phone to connect, so let me get to my laptop so that
all right, okay, okay,
then
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Please, any other inputs from Daniel, Eli, Gideon? Your name is it Sakuna or Sukuna? May I know the correct?
It's Sukuna, but it's not my actual name.
Okay, Sukuna. Oh,
yes,
okay. So now you are saying, oh, except All right. So the except, may we know the except?
Yeah, that function also confuses me. Like when you just read it all
We all
except,
accept.
sometimes
Yeah,
sometimes I see that they
let
use
me
it.
let me just help you understand. It's very simple.
Okay.
All except means ignore all except the particular column and table and column that of interest.
Okay.
Do you
But
understand?
you see, when you watch it well, like all except, it sounds like take into consideration all except
That's just the
that
inverse.
one rather.
The right the inverse of what you are thinking is the right thing.
Okay.
So instead of take all, rather ignore all except this one.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Please, is that question clarified?
Let me see. I'm just trying to get my this.
All right. So to add to the all except, right?
Yeah.
What it basically means is that with apart from I only need this column, or maybe I only need sukuna. So once I only need sukuna, I don't need the rest. Trash the rest, right?
So ignore every other person on this call except sukuna.
Okay.
All right. So thanks for letting us know. Please, any other person? Hello, any other person? Whilst we wait for Mopuchi to be of assistance, if you have any other similar issue, challenge, let us know. Please, if you still have GitHub account issue, let us know, because I think right after our break, what we are going to do with the Python is going to be GitHub. So that's where we are going to practice our pull request, forking, and so many other Git functions, right? But for now, it's just visualization, so we will not be doing much of Git. But if you have it done now, it would help us when we get to the Python.
Sorry, guys. Am I audible? I think I went off.
All right.
My network was.
Okay. Peter is back.
Okay. Yeah, I'm back.
All right. Okay.
Okay. I think I'll have to share my screen again.
Yes, please share your screen.
Okay. So we're looking at the tabs, and can my screen be seen?
Yes, I can see.
All right, sure. So we're looking at the tabs, and I was saying that we're going to try and create a logical statement using the if function. Going to try to use the if function. So what do we want to do in plain English? We want to say that I'm creating a new column. The column is called tabs. Now, what should Power BI do? I'm telling Power BI that if the place needs tabs, return yes. If it doesn't need tabs, return no. That is what we are trying to tell Power BI. If anywhere in my table, if the improvement is saying that let's install some tabs, return yes. If it is not saying that, return no. Okay, so we have our measure name, our column name, sorry. We have our equal to. Now we can have our function if. Okay, I bring my comma, my open bracket. Now it is telling me what to do in the function. It says the first thing is I should bring my logical test. After the logical test, I should bring a comma. Then I bring my result if true. After that, I bring a comma. Then I bring my result if false. After, so it's basically telling you what to do, and it makes it very easy to know when you are faulting or something. So my logical test is if the improvement column of the infrastructure cost table is equal to anything that has tabs in it, return yes. Okay, so that's my logical statement.
Okay.
If what? So if I specify the table first, like we always do, then one.
Okay.
So if the improvement column of the infrastructure cost table is equal to tabs.
Okay.
Is equal to tabs. Okay. If it is equal to tabs, so this is my logical statement. Okay. The next question is if it is equal to tabs, what should I do? So that will be the result if true.
Okay.
So right now I'm done with my logical test. So it's telling me that I should bring a comma. The comma is what will tell PowerBI that you are done with your logical test. If you don't bring the comma, it means that you are not done with your logical test yet. So now that I brought my comma, you see that the blue has shifted from logical test and it has moved to result if true. So if the improvement column of the infrastructure cost table is equal to tabs, what should I do? I'm saying that just say yes. Y-E-S, yes. Now, once I bring another comma, it means that I'm done with my results is true. So now it has moved to result if false. I'll say that my result if false, if it is false, just say no. I'm done with that one, then I can close my bracket. So basically what this means in plain English is that I'm creating a new column called tabs. Now for this new column, if the improvement column of the infrastructure table is equal to tabs, PowerBI should give me a yes in the column. Otherwise, it should give me a no in the column. Then I close the column.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So now it is giving me no. The ones that have tabs in them are tabs plus some other things. So I have to tell PowerBI that if you find tab in anything that is written there, then that is where you should give me a yes.
Okay.
And how to do that is I just have to add this here, just to tell PowerBI that if it is tabs something, if it is anything that has to do with tabs, give me something. Otherwise, tabs. Tabs. Give me a yes. Otherwise, give me a no. Or even if I just want to make it just the first one, just the install one tabs, so that all the other ones will give me a no. I can even tell PowerBI directly that it should be install one tabs nearby, so that it is not all the tabs, it's just the one.
Okay, it's
install
like
one. If it is installed two,
you are
give me that.
specifying, you are being specific.
Nearby. Yes, specific.
Okay.
Let's install one tab nearby. And here you are. It's giving me a yes for just that one.
What? Okay.
So what do you use this for? Sometimes when you are analyzing your data and you are looking at the columns, maybe you want to see, maybe let's say on your table, for example, in the project, there was a time that we wanted to see a place where the improvements have been completed and a place that it has not been completed. So in this case, you use a logical statement to tell PowerBI that if the improvement has been completed, return completed. If it has not been completed, return backlog. how many have been completed, how many have not been completed, what percentage of the total population have been completed, and everything you want to do with completed. So basically, that is how you write your if statement. And the good thing is that Power BI guides you. And once you make a mistake, for example, if instead of this comma, I left this comma out, and I hit OK, it says the syntax for yes is incorrect. What it means is that it is not complete because you have to have your logic statement, your result if yes, and your result if no.
No.
You see, but I have given it not enough arguments. The arguments are supposed to be 3. I've given it just 2 arguments, so it doesn't know what to do. Okay. So, and one thing I would say also is that we shouldn't panic about errors. When you get an error, your computer will not spoil. Nothing will happen to you.
All right.
You get an error, you just have to go back and see what is wrong, okay, and try to correct it. All right. If you are not finding a solution, just pick your DAX, take it to ChatGPT, take it to Google, try to find what is wrong with that, and they'll give you a solution, and you'll be fine.
All right. So from it, I think this in programming, it's called bugs, right? Or debugging. So yeah, working on a query like this is more or less like writing a programming language, right? And if you start with your logic statement or function, you would see that each function is being separated with a comma or by a comma. And you have to make sure you do it exactly as such. So the BI by 8 intelligence would know that, okay, this is the first, this is the second part, and this is the last part. So it can give you the result that you need. Okay.
Any questions so far? Oh, we are fine. We are very fine with the basics.
Oh yeah, with this one, personally, I'm okay. Even though I don't know anything about the DAX, I'm pretty okay. So if anyone also has a question, clarification, please, you can let us know.
Okay.
All right. So
it looks like there are no questions currently.
Yes, please.
Okay. Maybe let's try. Let's be. Okay. Someone wants us to use the contain string function.
Okay.
Okay. We can try that as well.
All right.
So just with the same one I used. With the same tabs. Now I'm going to use the contain string function to tell ChatGPT to tell Power BI that if the column I'm looking for contains a string, contains something, then so this is more like a function in another function, and it happens a lot. It happens a lot. Let me clear everything and write it again. So we are writing in English. So I'm saying that if the infrastructure cost table, the improvement column, okay, if it is what? If it contains a string, so I have to say contain string here. Okay. Now, once I hit my contain string, Power BI is already telling me what to do. So he's saying that once you open the contain string bracket, where should I go? Within what text? Then you bring a comma, then you tell me what to find. So right now I'm telling Power BI that column on the infrastructure cost table. So come to the improvement column on the infrastructure cost table. That is the within text. Then I bring my comma. Then it tells me that when I come there, so the question is, when I come there, what should I find? Okay. Then I say maybe look for, maybe install. So install is plenty, maybe nearby. Look for nearby. Then I close my contain string. Now, once I close my contain string, the contain string is finished. Now it goes back to the if function. and it's telling me that is my logical test complete because I'm still on the logical test. I bring my comma, it means that my logical test is completed. Now I can go to the results if true. So if this improvement column on the infrastructure cost table contains nearby, what should I do? Then I'm telling Power BI that it's tap to be constructed. Tap to be constructed. Okay. So I bring my comma again to close that. Then I go to the results if false. Then I say no tap. No tap. Then I bring my closing. Now it's also always very good to check your the brackets. You have to check that your first bracket has been closed. If, for example, this one had not closed my first bracket, maybe it's closing a bracket somewhere here, I'll go down again and add another bracket just to ensure that my first bracket will be closed. But the good thing is this one is closing my first bracket, so I'm good. I hit the enter, and Power BI will do what I've asked it to do. So if there is no nearby in the statement in this column, it will just give me no tap like I instructed it to do. But if there is nearby in there, it will tell me tap to be constructed. Okay. Tap to be constructed. So if after this, maybe I want to find out how many improvement areas do not need taps, do not require taps, because maybe we want to talk to our vendors, or we want to see how many require taps and how many don't require taps. I can just come to Power BI and say count the number of rows in the taps column that have no tap in them. And once it counts that for me, I have the figure. And it makes it very easy. So that's what the calculated columns and the measures can do. And these are the DAX functions that we use to get them. Right. I don't know if there are some questions.
Please, if you still need further clarification or question, please, you can let us know, or Peter know, so you can be attended to. All right, so I think we are all cool. We are all cool, sir.
Okay, hey, in the chat, someone says I should explain some function. Which one is this? Okay. Oh, this one is complex. All right. Cumulative cost is equal to calculate some project. This. If you can explain this function, I keep getting blank for the cumulative cost.
Wow.
This will scare a lot of us. Okay, let me see what it is. Cumulative cost. Cumulative cost should be on the progress table. Cumulative cost here. Okay, so this is my DAX for cumulative cost. Let me check what you wrote. Where is that one?
You can copy his and.
Where is that one? Save. Oh, where do I get the charts? Where has it got to? Where has it gone to?
The chart. I think let me try his own. I think he's trying to. Okay. He started with cumulative cost equal to calculate sum project progress cost filter or project progress. Let me see. Project. Okay, I think he's omitting the inverted commas.
Ah.
Yeah, he's
omitting this inverted commas.
Yeah, so from no sum, the first sum, project progress, no inverted commas. And the all progress project progress, no inverted commas. So I think
Okay.
that's what he's omitting.
So guys, if you can see my screen,
please, let me see the one who sent that message. It's Sukuna. Please, Sukuna, are you with us? He is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So looking at his, it seems yours is with the omission of the inverted commas. So you can look at his and do that and effect that change in yours. Let me
Okay,
see.
I'll try that too and see.
Yes, please. I think
Okay.
yours is perfect, but the issue here seeing is with the inverted commas. All right, so
Okay, cool.
yeah.
This one is complex, so I don't want us to tackle this
No,
yet.
no.
Today we are doing the basics.
Yes, please, yeah. I think his issue here is with the commas, inverted commas.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you too, senior. We are all together and for each other.
Okay.
So
Any questions?
Okay. I mean, I'm okay, and I think with the basics. Please, since today is our first time with this, right? If there's any basic thing to be addressed, you can let him know. So maybe from next week we can arrange it well. We can have a defined objective so we can follow it as such. So the training would be engaging, interactive, and also useful.
Any questions, guys? Let's ask questions.
Okay, it seems several.
Peter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone is on the floor.
So Peter, my question is, so when there are times that we omit the calculates and then calculation still works, like when you were doing the sum. So I want to ask, when do you need to bring the calculates function?
When do you need to use the calculate function?
Yes.
Okay. So the calculate function is basically to calculate something for you. If you are using the sum function, for example, if I want to sum, say, the budget improvement cost here, I want a total sum of the budget improvement cost. I'll use sum because sum will aggregate the budget improvement cost and sum it for me and give me one value. But if I want to, for example, do maybe sum of budget improvement cost plus maybe sum of, let me see, what other column do I have? There may be sum of this cost. So I want to do sum of budget improvement cost plus sum of this cost. Then I'll use the calculate function. So I'll say calculate. Then in my first bracket, my first one should be sum of the budget improvement cost. Then plus another function, sum of this cost. So that is where the calculate will come in. That is number one. Then number two is you use the calculate because the calculate gives you the opportunity to filter. Once you input, let's try that. Let me close this one. Let's just try creating a new measure. What should I call it? Let's say we want to have the budget improvement cost plus this cost, and we are calling that overall cost. Okay, just for practice, we are calling that overall cost. Okay, now overall cost is equal to, if I use the sum, for example, the sum will, let me use the sum and do the budget improvement cost. That is on the project progress table. So budget improvement cost. You see the function up there. the sum is going to sum only a column. So it is asking you what is the column name. Once you are done with the column name, you have to close it because it's not taking any more arguments. It is summing just one column. But now I want to sum two columns. So I would have to use the calculate to do sum column A plus sum column B. That is the calculate. So that is the first one. Then the second one is if you want to filter something out. Now the calculate function is syntax. Calculate. The syntax of the calculate function. It says give me the expression, you bring a comma, and you give me the filter. So if my expression is for it to sum the budget cost improvement that is on the project progress table. Budget cost improvement. I close that. I bring my comma. Then it will ask me to filter. What should it filter? I say, oh, don't filter anything or filter everything. So if you're telling Power BI, don't filter anything, you say all. Remove the filter from all, everything. So all project progress table. Project progress table here. So I say don't filter anything. Just sum the total budget improvement cost for me. And it will sum. But this does not complete. So, okay, for example, then I close this. So it is going to calculate a sum for the budget improvement cost with no filters. Now, let's say I want to filter because sometimes, so the no filters and the filter, I know this has created problems for some people. I want to explain it briefly. Now, sometimes maybe, you see, for example, in the project, we're trying to calculate, let's say, total number of people in Sokoto that need improvement. You are trying to find the percentage of people in Sokoto that need improvement. Now, the formula for percentage will be total number in Sokoto that need improvement divided by all the people in Sokoto. Okay. But what you would want to do is you want to tell Power BI that if I'm doing this kind of calculation, when I'm looking for the total people in Sokoto, remove every filter apart from a filter on the town name. Because if you don't do that, the problem you can have is that in your report view, maybe you would have put a slicer on the date because you want to see the percentage of people in Sokoto that had improvement maybe by 20th April 2023. If you put a slicer there and you don't put your filter here in your DAX, it is going to give you, so instead of doing number of people who need improvement over total number of people in Sokoto, it's going to do number of people who need improvement over total number of people as at the slicer, the year the slicer is given. And that will not give you the correct information you are looking for. So sometimes the filter is important. If you don't want that there is a particular value you are looking for that you don't want anything to affect it, you add your filter. So that's where the calculate comes in. So sometimes you can say remove every filter on the column. If you are summing a column for me, 1 minute, let me reduce. Okay, if you are summing a column for me, remove every filter that is on the column. Even if you have a filter on the report view, someone has filtered Sokoto or they filtered something, remove all the filters and calculate the column for me before you come and use it for my calculation. So that's when the calculate comes in. When you want to use a filter or you are adding something column to column, you are subtracting some column somewhere, you are calculating some things, then you bring the calculate. I don't know if your question is well answered.
Yeah, it is. It is. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? More questions?
Please, let's ask any confusing anything that we don't understand, because we have to get the basics before we can progress to the advanced ones, right? And since today is our first time with this, we'll keep it very simple so we can all get it. Celestine. Hello, Celestine.
Yes.
Please, let's know your worries and your questions.
Hmm.
Don't say the whole show, please.
Oh, no, I'm not sure it's the whole show. Definitely, she's understood a few things today.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, I got a lot today.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Actually, this whole Power BI thing from like second week or third week, from third week, I was a bit sick, so like that's why I got everything messed up.
Okay. So
Okay.
I think we are going to plan the rest of the weeks very well, right? And we are going to arrange it from the basic to the advanced level, so we can have
Okay.
everybody be on the same page with Peter Ghana and Mopuchi and the rest, right?
So
All right.
thank you.
Daniel Otu, please, can we hear from you?
I was done with the question on the calculate.
Oh, with the calculate. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Eli Adote.
I think it's quite clear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Mr.
Yeah.
Peter, you've worked so hard. Ogidi Danso.
Yeah. I'm excited a lot of people are getting it from
Oh,
the
yeah,
basics.
sure.
I think if you get the basics, building up becomes a little bit easier.
Exactly.
Once you know how it works,
Yes,
then now.
All right. Sokuna from Mopuchi, I know he does have an issue. I know him, so.
Yeah, I'm okay.
You're okay.
Now.
All right. So
Rich, how can you say I don't have an issue? Rich, as I meet me, I be learn now. Make me no go there.
All right.
Me say Peter, I will see you back door. I beg. So
All right,
help
please.
you do one two.
Then Mopuchi, please ask your question.
No, me, I'll see him back there because if I start asking questions, they won't leave here today.
Oh yeah,
So
that's why I know
I
know you. So he will ask questions that isn't related to this one. All right. So so far, thanks everyone for joining us and Mr. Peter as well. To continue with, so far, we've gone through basic sum, how to sum. Okay, he first explained when and how to create a column and a measure. And he made us understood that before you work on that, you must get these two concepts, right? Why your measure, why your column. So if you are creating a new column, then it is going to be part of the table, right? So you are going to have a new column as part of your table. But if you are creating a measure, then it is going inside the table you already have. It wouldn't be part of the table columns, right? And that one, I think it's temporal, right? Okay, I think Sakuna is asking a question. A minute. Any outside project food? Oh, yes, please. We will, Sokuna. We will, but because of the issues around we settling up, right? We will, right? We have so many external projects we'll be doing beyond this one. And okay, all right, thank you. So now he has also explained and also demonstrated when to use the sum and use the calculate. So if you are using the sum, meaning you want to get a total of a column, right? But when you are using the calculate and the filter, then you want to aggregate two. It could be more than two columns, right? So you use your calculate, but the sum, you should use just one column. And we've also seen how we can either divide or do basic subtraction using your DAX. Yes, please. So I think if there's anything extra, Senior Peter, you can add, or if there is any clarification, anything to add, then now the floor is for you, Mr. Peter.
Okay, so I'm actually glad that at least everybody on the call understands the basic stuff with DAX. I must say that it's not difficult. It's not difficult like people make it seem. People are scaring us, but it's not that difficult. It's just a matter of understanding what you want to do, even in plain English. Because if you want to find a percentage and you don't know that the percentage is supposed to be A over B times 100, that one is not DAX ALLEXCEPT. It's mathematics. So once you know those things, if you know what you want to do, but you don't know how to do it, as I have said, there are lots of resources that can help you. Go to ChatGPT, you tell it what you want to do. I have worried ChatGPT a lot this past 2 weeks because it's not like I've done DAX before. I knew DAX from somewhere. No, but constantly I try to do something, it's not working, it's giving me an error. I copy my code, I take it to ChatGPT. I tell it, ChatGPT, what is wrong with this code? Then it says, okay, you don't have a comma here. It looks like you are trying to refer to this, but the tables are not related. Do. Then I get the concept. And that is how you build your understanding and you learn. Now, by the way, I would want to say that, so normally, I have a group that we go through every week's project every Sunday. So for example, this week's project, we'll go through it tomorrow Sunday. And this is a recorded session. I don't know if some of you join already, but most of the time on Sundays, we go through the projects, right? From SQL. We started this one, we're doing SQL.
Okay.
We go through the project on Sundays. Anything someone did not understand, we resolve it. And I try to explain it as much as I can.
Oh,
and I
wow.
take all the questions.
All right.
So what this means is that the project 3 for PowerBI, that's where the DAX started from.
Okay.
And that one, the DAX were basic, and then it built up to some intermediate. So I can share that video. I can share the video of the presentation we did last week. That's last Sunday.
Okay.
I'll share the video on the page so that people can pick it up and go through project 3. If you have not done project 3, or even if you have done project 3, but you didn't really understand the DAX part properly, you can pick that video and follow.
Yes.
And if you still have any problems, you can contact me via DM.
All right.
Then in the same way, I'm inviting all those who want to be part of us tomorrow evening. We'll be doing the project 4.
All right.
So we'll be doing everything, all the DAX in project 4, everything from start to finish.
Yes,
of
please.
Project 4. We'll be doing that tomorrow evening from 7 till we are done. Maybe 10. Sometimes we go all the way to 11. So if you want to join that too, but if you don't, but if you don't have the basics, I think you should watch the project 3 first.
All right.
And
so
understand that one. Then you can jump.
Share the video with us on the page, right? So we cannot pick it from there because I think many of us need it and we want to go through it. And so tomorrow to share the link with us. So you said 7, right?
Yeah, tomorrow 7.
All right.
Sunday 7 o'clock every Sunday.
Okay. So I'll request permission to end this recording, but the section is still ongoing. So anything you want to ask, you can let us know, and Peter will clarify it for you. So Peter, please continue.
Yeah. So for me,